Hi guys, and I want to introduce you a game, The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Chapter 2 Retribution. Upon the fate of the coveted reserve from the first game, you now find yourself haunted by a new, seemingly unstoppable threat, a looming, armored juggernaut that's out for your blood. Meanwhile, the tower, New Orleans of the Return powerhouse, has a new scheme to rescue outer dominance over the region, and of course, it has you in its crosshairs. Now, I can say that I found the first game narrative to be much more than a reason to play the game, and I felt the same here in the Retribution. Bouncing around in New Orleans as everyone around boy remains the same here in the sequel, meeting a host of the new key characters that will help flesh out the game narrative. Now, while I don't feel the story or character development has ever been a strong point of the series, I will say that this time around Skydesk Interactive does a much better job of developing real antagonists to our character instead of the way the first game kind of just put us in the way of ongoing events. The terrorist's actions from the first game have made him some enemies, so it's nice to see that play out here in the story. Moving on to gameplay, I'm going to assume that if you're reading this review, you have played the first Saints and Sinners. Starting up a new game, you are given the option of either importing your save from the first game, giving you the benefit of starting with the gear and receipts you attained in the first game, or starting over in the Retribution. Starting over in Retribution doesn't mean you are starting from scratch though. The streets of New Orleans in Retribution are much more dangerous, with increased zombie numbers and enemy NPC factions. Not to mention the inclusion of night missions, but more on that in a bit. As such, players starting out fresh will see the old crafting tables have been leveled up a bit early. In addition, your armory in the bus is stocked up with some higher end toys, and your new base of operations down in the catacombs is filled with junk to recycle. All of this lets you hit the first mission in fighting form, and not swinging spoons and frying pans. Now, I have to say that I was a little torn about starting off so well prepared. The survival fan in me didn't really like this. Healthy fun for me in survival games interacts to reach its progression. That being said, I also do like kicking ass. Those not great at being stealthy, yours truly included, will quickly find themselves back to scavenging in order to survive. The addition of 2 new crafting tables is where players will find all the new toys and perks added to Retribution, opening a whole new reason to scavenge. New weapons range from an Uzi and sawed-off shotgun to more heavy weapons, like a chainsaw and grenade launcher. In addition, weapons can be modified with such add-ons as silencers and laser sights. And while most of the toys are on the one crafting table, the second table is devoted more to character buffs, such as the much appreciated increased stamina, various combat gloves, as well as further buffs to combat resilience. So essentially more of what we got in the first game, making you an even bigger badass. The new areas are welcomed though and bring with them a bit more complexity and verticality. Most of the new areas bring us into the more urban areas of New Orleans, and eventually to the tower itself. Thankfully, while Retribution returns many areas and ideas from the first game, it also ramps up to the overall level of combat, making it more necessary than before to show up to areas ready to fight. This is where the new crafting tables and the toys that come with them again help Retribution to feel like something new. The chainsaw as a weapon in the real stand out and honestly almost reason enough to play the sequel. It's all types of brutal fun, and sees Saints and Sinners dip into some of the deeper zombie carnage I wanted from the sequel. Thankfully, these more capable versions have also made the chainsaw gameplay much more enjoyable than the Quest version, as the chamber mutilations just about broke the Quest. Both the PSVR and PC feel much more capable of supporting the game, running smooth as butter. Visuals is where things get really interesting. While it's not entirely fair to compare PCVR and PCVR to graphics to those of the Quest 2, It's important to address that the Quest 2 version was and still is a visual mess, rife with texture pop-in, low-resolution textures, and a general lack of polish. The Quest 2 graphics are not what you'll see on the PC